Custard the dragon had big, sharp teeth, and spikes on top of him and scales underneath, mouth like a fireplace, chimney for a nose, and realio, trulio, daggers on his toes. Hello everyone, I've got some more good literature for you today, and I'm super excited to show it to you and talk about it. Today we're looking at The Tale of Custard the Dragon. Now, this was one of my favorite poems growing up, and I loved reading it so much that I actually preferred reading it from the collection of poetry that we had rather than the book, even though the book itself is pretty good. But anyways, that's enough rambling about that. Let's go see what the presentation section has to offer us. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the presentation section of the video. So, now, today we are looking at The Tale of Custard the Dragon. Now, first off, let's talk a little bit more about what it is. This week's topic is poetry. Most poetry in children's literature is in the narrative form, and narrative poetry is when the poem tells a story. There are several examples of narrative poetry famously in the industry, such as Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, but in children's literature, one example would be The Village Blacksmith, which is a narrative poem about a blacksmith going about his day. And the reason why Daffy is here over there is because in the Looney Tunes cartoon Duck Amuck, he recites part of The Village Blacksmith, and I thought it was funny, so I added it, so... Moving on! Now, today's topic, of course, is The Tale of Custard the Dragon, which is written by Ogden Nash and was originally published in 1936 in several collections of poetry, including this one right here, which came from my dad's book of poetry. Now, it was also published in the form of a book right here, and the illustrations are by Lynn Munsinger. Moving on, let's go to the main story. The story is about Belinda and her 4 pets. Blink the mouse, Ink the cat, Mustard the dog, and Custard the dragon. Okay, now Belinda and her 3 pets are strong and brave, and they can just do anything right, but Custard is a coward and always wants a nice, safe cage, as is said in the story. But everything changes when a pirate attacks! Dun dun dun! Okay, moving on. So the structure of the poem, it's a very steady structure. It has rhymes, it has a steady rhythm. You can hear the rhythm if you read it out loud, like, Custard the dragon had very sharp teeth, and spikes on top of him and scales underneath. Yeah, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Well, I'd recommend trying it out yourself. Now, the verdict of this poem. It is an 11 out of 10 would read to the audience again. It is a very great way to introduce young kids to poetry, and it helps kids understand how poetry works, because they can feel the rhythm and the rhyme. Now, the illustrations in the book and in the collections give kids a good idea of what's going on, and the illustrations are very well done from what I've seen, both in the book and in the collection that I just showed you. It gives the reader a better visual, like, this is what our characters look like. Now, the illustrations also can help define bigger words. Like, one word in particular that they use is gyrate, which means to celebrate, or something like that. And in the book, it shows them celebrating in one of the pictures. So this would help kids understand bigger words. And the poem is actually a lot shorter than it looks. Well, yes, it does. It is a longer poem, as most narrative poems are. It's really short when you read it out loud to yourself a few times. So yeah, back to the castle. And that was my presentation on The Tale of Custard the Dragon. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I sure did. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go read some more poetry. Happy reading!